Will Alabama make it not just out the SEC this year, but next year? Are they in some trouble? Maybe. What's up, guys? It's DJ the Sports Blurred here. Did y'all miss me? I appreciate you stopping by and smash that like button since you're already here. And please consider subscribing, if you like my content, or even if you just like college sports, you like talking about the SEC, the Big Ten, Pac-12, all of it. I try to talk about it here. So I got a really, really good show for us. I'm talking about Alabama, obviously, today. I did a lot of research on them. So I'm a Ohio State fan, if you don't know. I live in Ohio. I got the Cincinnati Bengals shirt on today. And, I knew Alabama was a really dominant team, but how dominant they were, it just really blew my mind. Draft picks, have the leading players in the draft. It's crazy how many national championships they won in a short time, but we'll get to that. So earlier today, news came out that Tom Brady is probably going to retire. And from an Ohio State fan to a great player from the team up north, I just want to say thanks for the memories, all the inspiration, and watching him compete on the highest level for 20 plus years has been an honor. But please don't let that door hit you on the way out. Buddy, I'm tired of seeing you win. We got to get somebody else in here. So I'm joking, but in all seriousness, Tom Brady's a GOAT. And I doubt he's watching this, but if he was, on some 0.0000001%, at least now he knows my thoughts. So I want to get into my main topic of this video. Is Alabama in some trouble for next year? So I know Bama fans are probably still reeling from that 33-18 beatdown that Georgia put on them a few weeks ago in the national championship game. And while I hate to be the bearer of bad news, I'm going to tell you why that might just be a start for Alabama and their reign of terror in the SEC just coming over, and there might be a new change there. So if you really think about it, Alabama has slowly been losing its grip in the SEC for the past few years. As a matter of fact, they've even been less dominant overall. So this year, their average margin of victory was 18.4 points, which put them fifth behind Michigan. I can't say Michigan. The team up north, Cincinnati, the Ohio State Buckeyes, and also the Georgia Bulldogs. Now I know what you're thinking, DJ. That's really good. Fifth, really, really, really good. Think about it from this perspective. The last 5 years, I'm going to tell you where they ranked. In 2020, 2021, they ranked number 1. In 2019 to 2020, they ranked number 3. In 2018 to 2019, they ranked number 2. In 2017 to 2018, they ranked number 2. And then finally, in 2016 and the 2017 season, they ranked number 2. So over a span of 5 years, their average ranking was number 2. So they're just coming down just a bit. I'm not saying they're going to fall off a cliff, but I'm saying they're coming down just a bit. So, let's take a look at their record in the national championship games since the playoffs were introduced back in 2015. So go back to that very first playoff game, the playoff championship. The Ohio State beat Oregon 42-20. That was actually after they beat Alabama 42-35 in a really, really good Sugar Bowl matchup. So Alabama jumped out to a 21-6 lead, and then the superior team, they couldn't deal with that Big Ten speed. I got to go back to that game for a second. So I don't think I've ever heard more BS, bullcrap talking, or trash talking from any other sports team outside of Alabama that year. Alabama, they rolled into the first national championship game, at least the first college football playoff national championship game. They rolled in as a number 1 seed versus the number 4 seed. Ohio State was down to their third string quarterback, so it was quite the test for them. And, they won that game. And pretty much Alabama made Ezekiel Elliott a first-round pick that game. I mean, he was just out of his mind that game. But I digress. So the next 7 championship games up until even this season would feature Alabama 6 times. That's more than any other team out there. Clemson was next at, I believe, 3 or 4. So Out of those 6 appearances, they went 3-3, which is very good. That's 50%. That's actually not quite dominant. So I know what you're saying. Oh my gosh, that's not dominant. They won 3 championships in 6 years. It's very dominant, but not dominant due to Alabama standards. Let me stop shaking my camera too. So I'm going to break down their era, at least this Nick Saban era, which has lasted from, let's just say 2009 when he won his first national championship up until this year, 2020-21. So for the first 5 years, think about this. Between 2009 and 2013, Alabama won 3 out of the 5 championships. That is 66%. Now that is dominant. That is absolutely elite. That is crazy when you think about it. So let's go to the next 4 years. And by the way, to go to step back, Alabama was at that time a dynasty with no obvious end in sight. This was when they're at here. So the next 4 years, from 2014 to 2017, they won 2 out of 4 championships, which is 50%, which is very good, but you kind of see them slipping down. So the first part of the era had them winning 66% of the championships. The second part of the era had them winning 50% of the championships. And so the final 4 years, which we currently just ended, so from 2018 to 2021, it only saw them win 1 out of 4 potential championships. So that's all the way down to 25%. Still good, but not Alabama dominant. We went from 66 to 50% of the championships to now 25%. And what that's telling me is the rest of the country is catching up. You have Ohio State reloading, Michigan reloading, Notre Dame. All of these schools are starting to reload, and they're starting to throw shots at Alabama. And Alabama, you should just go like this and flick them off, but now they're actually starting to feel it. So let's go to their own conference. How do they stack up? If you've had your head in the sand recently, you wouldn't have noticed that the SEC has gotten way better this offseason. So I've always criticized the SEC about being really high, top heavy, but Texas A&M, who beat Alabama last year, is bringing in what some are calling the greatest recruiting class maybe of all time. They'll get better. That recruiting class has 7 5-stars, by the way. That's absolutely insane. All right. Brian Kelly, he went to LSU. They got Coach O out of there, and they brought in Brian Kelly. I'm sorry, I can't talk today, who was a proven head coach. I mean, he had a lot of success at Cincinnati, then went to Notre Dame, now found a home in LSU. So if you're not paying attention to what he's doing, he has had one of these most successful transfer portal recruiting classes, I guess is what we're going to call it, this offseason. I mean, he's put together a heck of a team. They'll get better. Let's go down to Ole Miss. So Lane Kiffin today looked to have added Jackson Dart. If you don't know who he is the stud freshman quarterback from USC. Everybody wanted this guy. They'll get better. Finally, Georgia took over as SEC king this year. They beat Alabama in the National Championship Bowl and the game, and guess what? They're getting better. So, finally, Alabama fans, I want to leave you with this. If you don't know, I'm a Buckeye fan. I know I've said that 100 times. We've had our biggest rival, which is the team up north. We've had their number, 13 out of the last 15 games from 2004 to 2015, and this included a string of 8 straight that we just recently went on. However, that all changed this year when they beat us 45-27. I mean, it was a shocker. We didn't see it coming. We had it so good for so long that we almost forgot what it was like to lose. One thing I want to tell you guys, Alabama fans specifically, is that all good things will inevitably come to an end. Nick Saban is going to lose so many coaches on his coaching staff. They're going to go on to get bigger, better jobs, and then they're going to come for his crown, i.e. Kirby Smart. Clemson, they're reloading this year. Don't forget about the Tigers. I really think they're going to have an incredible season this year. I mean, they're just producing down there in South Carolina, and I think that Dabo Swinney has something up his belt. Ohio State, they're bringing back the number 1 offensive talent in the nation. Think about what they're going to do as they get better and older. So, Alabama fans, just remember, all good things must come to an end. And eventually, The dynasty has to stop. The train has to come to the train station. And the kids got to go home and go to bed. It was fun while it lasted, but the rest of the country is ready to play. So let me know what you think about it. Tell me down below if I was in the comments, if I was right, if I was wrong. I could be wrong. I could be completely off. Alabama, I mean, they have one of the top recruiting classes this year. So does Georgia. So does Ohio State. So does A&M. So there's a bunch of teams that are going to be reloading. And Alabama might just have a couple more years left in the tank, and I'm just speaking some ill stuff on Alabama. Anyways, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I really appreciate this. Thank you for hanging out with me. Could have been anywhere in the world, but I appreciate that. So until next time, I got nothing left to say.